Far away from Earth, in a galaxy full of stars and mysteries, a small spaceship landed on a quiet, lonely planet. This planet was empty in many ways. It had little water, strange rocky lands, and a sky that always seemed dim and gray. No bright colors, no friendly sounds, only wind and silence. On this planet, a young alien woman named Nara sat alone. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes large and shining like moons. She wore a simple silver suit that helped her breathe in the thin air. Nara was tired and weak. She looked at the empty sky and whispered softly, "Why did they leave me here?" Nara had come to this planet with her people on a mission. They were explorers like humans, searching for new worlds and new friends. But something went wrong. Nara found something important, something her leaders did not want anyone to know. They said she was a troublemaker. They left her behind, stranded and forgotten. Days passed, and Nara tried to stay strong. She walked across the rocky land, searching for food and water. The planet was harsh. The sun gave little warmth, and strange creatures hid in the shadows. Nara's body was not made for this cold place. She felt lonely more than ever before. One evening, as the sky turned a darker shade of gray, Nara heard a sound she never expected, a soft humming, like a machine moving. She looked up, hoping it was help, but only saw a small ship landing nearby. Her heart beat fast. Inside the ship was a human named Ben. Ben was an explorer from Earth. He was on a mission to find new planets that humans could visit one day. He was brave and kind. When he stepped out of his ship, he saw Nara sitting by a small fire she had made. Her face was tired but calm. Ben was surprised to see an alien here, especially one who looked hurt and scared. He kept his hands open to show he meant no harm. "Hello," he said in a friendly voice. Nara looked at him carefully. She was not sure if she could trust him. "Are you alone?" Ben asked gently. Nara nodded. She did not speak much. The last time she had tried to explain, no one had listened. Now, she just watched Ben, waiting to see what he would do. Ben took out a small pack of water and food from his ship. "You need this," he said, moving closer. Nara hesitated but then took the water. She drank slowly, feeling the cold liquid fill her dry throat. Days passed, and Ben stayed near Nara. He helped her build a better shelter from stones and metal pieces he found on the planet. Nara showed him how to find safe plants to eat and where to find clean water. They worked together, slowly learning from each other. Ben was amazed by Nara's courage. Even though she was alone and scared, she never gave up. Nara was curious about Ben's stories too. He told her about Earth, a planet full of blue oceans, green forests, and busy cities. Nara listened with wide eyes, imagining a place so different from her cold, lonely home. Sometimes, Nara tried to speak her language. Ben smiled and tried to learn her words. Their simple talks made them feel less alone. Ben learned that Nara loved music and art, and she learned that Ben liked to watch stars at night. One night, a cold wind blew over the planet. Nara shivered under her thin blanket. Ben gave her his jacket and sat beside her. They watched the dark sky together. Nara felt something warm inside her heart. For the first time since she had been left on this planet, she did not feel so alone. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the quiet. Ben stood up quickly, looking toward the horizon. "Something is coming," he said. Nara's eyes widened. She felt fear again. Were her people coming to take her back, or worse? Ben held Nara's hand. "We will face this together," he said firmly. Nara nodded. She trusted Ben now. Together, they were stronger than before. As the shadow of a big ship appeared in the sky, Nara and Ben prepared for what was coming. The story of the alien left to die alone was about to change forever. Someone from another world had lifted her out of darkness and into hope. The planet was still quiet, but now it held a new secret, the secret of a human and an alien, bound by courage, friendship, and something deeper than words. The big ship hovered above the rocky ground, its engines making a low humming sound. Nara's heart beat fast. She stood close to Ben, feeling the strength in his hand. The shadow of the ship made the cold planet feel even colder. Ben looked up, at the ship and then back at Nara. We have to be careful, he said softly. I don't know who is inside, but we must be ready. Nara nodded, her eyes shining with fear and hope. She had been alone for so long, left to face everything by herself. Now, with Ben beside her, she felt a small light inside her chest, a light that whispered she was not alone anymore. The ship landed slowly. A door opened with a soft hiss, and two figures stepped out. They wore suits with bright lights and strange symbols. Nara's eyes widened. They were from her own people, the ones who had left her behind. One of them looked at Nara with cold eyes. You were not supposed to survive here, he said. Return with us now. Nara shook her head. I will not go. Not until I know the truth is safe. Ben stood in front of her. She is not alone. If you want to take her, you will have to go through me. The two aliens looked at Ben with surprise. Humans were small compared to them, but Ben's voice was strong and clear. His courage was bigger than his size. We do not want to fight, said the second alien, but you are interfering with a matter beyond your understanding. Ben smiled a little. Maybe, but I understand something very simple. No one should be left to die alone. Nara felt a warmth in her chest as Ben spoke. She saw in his eyes a kindness she had never known before. Maybe humans were different from what she thought. The two aliens talked quietly for a moment. Then they stepped back and left the planet. The big ship took off into the sky, disappearing into the stars. Nara sighed with relief. She looked at Ben and smiled. Thank you, she said softly. Ben smiled back. We saved each other. For many days after that, Ben and Nara stayed close. They shared food and stories. They explored the strange planet together. Ben taught Nara how to use some of his tools. Nara showed Ben how to read the stars in her way. One day, while they rested near a small stream, Nara asked, Why do you care for me, Ben? Why do you help someone so different? Ben looked at her and thought for a moment. Because I believe everyone deserves kindness, no matter where they come from or what they look like. Nara's eyes filled with tears. She had never heard such words from anyone, especially not from her own people. Your heart is strong, she said. Ben laughed softly. Maybe that is what makes humans special. Nara felt her trust growing stronger, but she also felt a little fear. Her people might return. They might never accept her choice. One evening, as the cold wind blew again, Ben and Nara sat close by the fire. Nara told Ben about her home planet, far away from this cold place. She spoke of forests filled with bright flowers, cities with tall towers, and skies full of stars that danced in colors. Ben listened carefully. It sounds beautiful, he said. I want to see it one day. Nara smiled. Maybe you will. If you come to my world, you must promise to be kind. I promise, Ben said, holding her hand gently. As the night grew darker, Nara and Ben looked up at the stars. For the first time, Nara did not feel like she was alone in the universe. She felt a connection, a bond, not just with Ben but with hope itself. The next days passed slowly. They fixed Ben's ship and collected supplies. They moved carefully, always watching the horizon for any sign of danger. One afternoon, while exploring a rocky cave, they found strange symbols carved into the walls. Nara's eyes shone with surprise. These are old marks from my people, she said. They tell stories of courage and truth. Ben touched the carvings gently. Maybe they knew about you. Maybe they wanted someone to find these stories. One day, Nara nodded. She felt a new strength inside her. The past was painful, but it was also part of who she was together. Ben and Nara decided to protect the truth she had discovered. It was more important than their fear. It was a secret that could change many lives if shared wisely. But danger was not far away. From the dark corners of space, other ships were coming. They had heard about Nara's survival. They wanted to bring her back, no matter the cost. Ben and Nara prepared to face these threats, but now they would not face them alone. They had each other, and that was the most powerful weapon of all. In the quiet moments before the storm, Nara looked at Ben and said, "Thank you for lifting me from the darkness." Ben smiled and replied, "We lift each other." Their fragile bond was growing into something strong, a friendship that could cross worlds and break barriers together. They were ready for whatever the future held. The lonely planet was no longer just a place of cold and silence. It was a place where hope lived, where a human and an alien began a new story, a story of courage, trust, and the power to change the stars. The quiet planet was no longer a place of peace. The sky often glowed with distant lights from ships that searched the horizon. Nora and Ben knew they had little time. Her past was coming closer. And with it, danger. One morning, Ben checked the supplies. He noticed the sky turning a strange orange color. "A storm is coming," he said. "We should find shelter quickly." Nora nodded. "There's a cave nearby," she said. "It is safe from wind and rain." They gathered their things and walked fast. The rocky ground made it hard. But Ben helped Nora when she stumbled. They reached the cave just as the first drops of rain fell. Inside, the air was cool and quiet. As they sat near a small fire, Nora looked worried. "Ben, I must tell you more about why my people left me." Ben listened closely. "I am ready." Nora took a deep breath. "Before we came here, I discovered something on my home planet, something important. My people want to keep it hidden. They believe it is dangerous." Ben looked at her. "What did you find?" Nora's eyes shone with pain. "A truth about their leaders. They are not what they seem. They hide secrets that could hurt many." Ben nodded slowly. "That is brave, Nora. You tried to do what is right." Nora looked down. "But they call me a traitor. They sent me away to die here, alone." Ben reached out and took her hand. "You are not alone anymore." Suddenly, the cave's entrance shimmered with light. Ben and Nora both stood up quickly. Outside, a group of alien ships had landed near the cave. The leader of the group stepped forward. It was the same cold-eyed alien from before. "Nora, return with us now. Your time to hide is over." Nora faced him bravely. "I will not go back until the truth is known." Ben stood beside her. "She has a right to live freely." The leader laughed. "You, a human, dared to stand against us." Ben smiled. "I stand for what is right." The leader raised his hand, and a force field appeared around the cave. Ben and Nora could not leave. Inside the cave, Ben looked at Nora. "We need a plan." Nora thought for a moment. "There's a hidden tunnel at the back. It leads to the other side of the mountain." Ben nodded. "Let's go before they tighten the field." They moved quickly through the dark tunnel, guided only by the small light from Ben's hand device. The tunnel was narrow and cold. Nora's heart pounded with fear and hope. At last, they reached the other side. The storm was heavy, but they were free. Ben and Nora ran through the rain to find a place to hide. They found a small cave near a stream. There, they could rest and think. Nora looked at Ben. "Thank you for saving me." Ben smiled. "We saved each other." They knew the danger was not over. The people who chased Nora wanted her gone. But now, Ben was ready to fight for her and the truth she carried. Days passed, and Ben worked to repair his ship. He also helped Nora stay strong. He taught her simple exercises to keep her body ready. Nora taught Ben about her culture, about respect, courage, and hope. One evening, they sat under the stars. Nora asked Ben, "Why do you believe in me, even when others don't?" Ben looked at the sky and then at her. "Because I see you. Not just the alien, but the person inside. You are brave, kind, and strong. That is what matters." Nora's eyes filled with tears. She had never felt so accepted. The next day, Ben found a small communication device in the supplies he gathered. He tried to send a message to his team, telling them about Nora and the danger. But the signal was weak. "We are far from help," Ben said. Nora took his hand. "Then we must be our own help, together." They made plans. They would not run away. They would face the challenge and protect the secret Nora carried. Suddenly, a loud noise shook the ground. From the forest, a group of alien soldiers appeared. They were armed and ready. Ben stood in front of Nora. "Stay behind me." The leader of the soldiers stepped forward. "Give us Nora. You will not stop us. Ben's eyes burned with fire. No one will take her. The fight began. Ben used his training and quick thinking. He dodged and moved with speed. Nara helped by confusing the soldiers with strange signals from her suit. The battle was hard, but Ben and Nara's teamwork was strong. They forced the soldiers back into the forest. When the danger passed, Nara looked at Ben with admiration. You are more than a friend. Ben smiled softly. And you are more than I imagined. They both knew the road ahead would be hard, but together, they felt ready. The past had come to challenge them, but the future was theirs to shape. With courage in their hearts, they prepared for what was next. Their story was not just about survival. It was about trust, hope, and the strength found in two very different beings who chose to stand together. The planet's wind still howled outside their small cave, but inside, a quiet warmth grew between Ben and Nara. They had fought together, survived danger, and now their trust was stronger than before. Ben looked at Nara carefully. You know, humans are not perfect. We make mistakes, but we also fight for what we believe is right. Nara nodded. I see that in you. You fight not for power, but for others. Ben smiled. That is the human spirit. For days, they planned how to protect Nara and the secret she carried. The secret was important, and it could change many lives if shared wisely. But sharing it could also bring danger. Nara looked at Ben. Why do you help me so much? You could leave and be safe. Ben shook his head. No, I could not leave you here alone. Not after all you have been through. Nara's eyes softened. She felt something she had never known: hope. Ben and Nara spent many hours talking. They shared stories about their homes. Nara told Ben about her family and the art of her people. Ben told Nara about Earth's many cultures, its mountains, oceans, and cities full of light. One evening, they watched the sky. The stars were bright, and the silence was peaceful. Nara asked Ben, "Do you believe people can change?" Ben thought for a moment. Yes, I believe we all can, especially when we open our hearts. Nara smiled. Then maybe I'm not so different from you. Ben reached out and gently held her hand. We are more alike than you think. The days passed, and Ben fixed his ship. He worked hard, knowing soon they might need to leave the planet. But he also knew leaving was not just about escaping danger. It was about protecting what mattered. One afternoon, a strange noise came from the sky. Ben looked up and saw a small drone flying near their cave. Someone is watching us, Ben said. We must be careful. Nara stood beside him, ready. They will not find us so easily. Together, they hid their tracks and moved to a new place. This time, they found a hidden valley with green plants and fresh water. It was safer, and they could rest. Ben and Nara worked together to build a small shelter. They used parts from Ben's ship and natural materials. Their teamwork grew stronger every day. One morning, Ben showed Nara a simple human game. They laughed as they tried to play. Nara's laughter was soft but full of joy. It was the first time she had laughed freely in a long time. Ben said, "Laughter is a gift. It helps us survive." Nara nodded. "I want to learn more about your world." Ben smiled. "And I want to learn more about yours." As the days grew warmer, Nara's health improved. The cold planet was less harsh with Ben's care. She felt strong again, but also peaceful. One night, under the bright stars, Ben asked Nara, "What do you want for your future?" Nara looked at the sky and then at Ben. "I want to be free, to share the truth, to find a place where I belong." Ben held her hand. "Then we will find that place together." Their bond was no longer just about survival. It was about hope, trust, and the power of kindness. The human spirit had lifted the alien beauty from loneliness into something new, a connection that crossed worlds. As they prepared for the challenges ahead, Ben and Nara knew one thing for sure. Together, they were stronger than any danger. The stars above promised new adventures, new friends, and a future filled with light. And for the first time, Nara believed that maybe, just maybe, she could find a home, not just on a planet, but in a heart. The days grew longer as Ben and Nara settled into their new home in the hidden valley. The green plants and clear water gave them hope. But the threat from Nara's people still hung over them. Like a dark cloud, they knew the hunters would return. One morning, Ben was working on his repaired ship when a small human scout ship landed nearby. It was part of Ben's team. Relief washed over him. He rushed to meet them, excited to share news of Nara and the planet. But when the team leader stepped out, Ben noticed something different. The man's eyes were cold and serious. He did not greet Ben warmly. "We have orders," the team leader said. "The alien must be taken into custody immediately. There is no room for negotiation." Ben's heart sank. He looked back toward the valley where Nara waited. He felt torn between loyalty to his team and his promise to protect Nara. He returned to the valley and told Nara about the team's arrival and their strict orders. Nara's face was calm, but her eyes held sadness. "I feared this day would come," she said. "My people want to control the secret I carry. They will not listen to reason." Ben reached for her hand. "I will not let them take you without a fight." Together, they prepared. Ben's ship was ready to fly, but he knew they needed a plan that did not lead to violence. The team leader arrived at the valley with his group. They were armed and serious. Ben stepped forward to speak. "There's a better way," Ben said. "Let us talk. Nara will share what she knows. We can find peace." The team leader shook his head. "Orders are orders. We cannot risk her freedom." Nara stepped forward calmly. "If you truly want peace, then listen to me." Her voice was steady, and her words moved even the hardest hearts. She spoke about the secret, about the truth she had found, and about why it was important for all to know. Slowly, some of the team members began to listen. Their eyes softened. The leader's face remained stern, but a question showed in his eyes. Ben saw hope. Then, without warning, one of the team's soldiers stepped forward. He pointed a device at Nara. "She is dangerous. We must take her." Ben moved quickly and blocked the soldier's path. No, a struggle began. Ben fought to protect Nara. The valley echoed with sounds of conflict. Nara used her knowledge of the planet to help Ben. She guided him to use the terrain to their advantage. Finally, the team leader shouted for calm. "Enough, stand down." He looked at Nara and then at Ben. "Maybe we need to rethink this." The soldiers lowered their weapons. The leader said, "We will take her back. But first, we will listen." Nara nodded. She knew this was her chance. For ours, they talked. Nara shared everything. Ben supported her words. Slowly, the team's fear turned to understanding. By nightfall, the leader made a decision. "We will report what we have learned, and no harm will come to her." Ben smiled, relief filling his heart. Nara's secret was safe, at least for now. That night, by the fire, Ben and Nara talked quietly. "Thank you for standing with me," Nara said softly. Ben took her hand. "We stand together, always." The stars shone bright above them, a sign of hope in the dark universe. But Ben knew the road ahead would still be difficult. Trust was fragile, and some dangers were hidden, waiting for the right moment. Still, in that moment, with Nara by his side, Ben believed they could face anything. Together, they had found a new family, not just in people, but in the bond that lifted them both from loneliness into strength. The days after the talks were tense but hopeful. Ben and Nara waited for the report from the team leader, hoping their words had reached the right people. The secret Nara carried was important, and the truth could change many lives, but not everyone wanted that truth to be known. One morning, while they were checking the valley, a small group of humans and aliens arrived. They were different from the earlier team, calm, open, and ready to listen. They had heard about Nara's story and wanted to help. Ben greeted them with relief. "Thank you for coming. We need allies." The leader of the new group, a tall alien named Taro, stepped forward. "We believe in justice. The truth must be shared." Nara felt hope grow stronger. She explained again the secret she had found and why her people tried to hide it. Taro and the others listened carefully, their faces serious. But danger was not far away. From the sky, more ships appeared, dark and large. These were the hunters who wanted to capture Nara at any cost. Ben and the new allies prepared quickly. They set traps and created defenses using the planet's rocky landscape. Nara used her knowledge to guide them through safe paths and hidden places. When the hunters landed, a battle began. The valley echoed with the sounds of engines and voices. But Ben and his friends fought bravely and wisely. Ben led the human fighters with skill and courage. Nara moved with grace and strength, protecting those who could not fight. Together, they formed a strong team. The hunters were powerful, but they did not expect such unity and courage. Slowly, they were pushed back. During the fight, Taro called out, "We must capture the leader." Ben nodded. He and Nara followed Taro to the heart of the enemy camp. There, they found the leader, a cold and angry alien who wanted to control the secret at all costs. Nara faced him bravely. "Your lies have hurt many. It is time for the truth to be free." The leader laughed. "You are weak. You cannot stop me." Ben stepped forward. Strength is not only power. It is courage, kindness, and standing together. With that, the leader realized he was beaten. His forces withdrew, leaving the valley quiet once again. The allies gathered, tired but victorious. Taro smiled at Nara and Ben. "You have shown us what it means to fight for justice." Nara looked at Ben and whispered, "We did this together." Ben squeezed her hand. "Together, we are strong." The victory was more than a battle won. It was a promise that no one would stand alone, no matter their world or past. News of their courage spread across many planets. More people joined the cause to share the truth and protect those who needed help. Nara and Ben knew their journey was far from over, but now they had friends and hope. Together, they would build a future where kindness and truth shone brighter than fear and lies. The stars above smiled down on them, lighting the path to a new beginning. The valley was calm now. The battle was over, and the stars above shone brightly. Ben and Nara sat together near a small fire, feeling the peace around them. Their journey had been long and hard, but a new chapter was about to begin. Nara looked at Ben and smiled softly. "What will happen now?" Ben thought for a moment. "You have a choice. You can come with me to Earth, or find a new home where you feel safe." Nara looked at the sky and then back at Ben. "I want to be free, but I also want to belong." Ben reached out and held her hand gently. "Then we will find that place." Together, in the days that followed, Ben and Nara prepared for the journey. They repaired the ship and gathered supplies. Their friends from many worlds promised to help protect them. Before they left, Nara received a message from her home planet. The leaders had seen the truth she shared. They were ready to change. Nara's courage had started a new hope for her. People. Ben smiled. "Your bravery helped many." Nara nodded. "And your kindness saved me." When the day came, they boarded the ship. Ben piloted with skill while Nara looked out at the stars. She felt a mixture of fear and excitement. As the ship moved away from the planet, Nara leaned on Ben's shoulder. "Thank you for lifting me from loneliness into your heart." Ben smiled and said, "We lifted each other." The journey to Earth was filled with stories and dreams. Nara learned about human life, their hopes and struggles. Ben listened to her stories of distant worlds and wonders. When they arrived, Earth welcomed them with open arms. People were curious and kind. Nara saw children playing in parks and families sharing meals. She felt a warmth she had never known. Ben and Nara began to build a new life together. They shared their experiences and helped others understand the value of trust and friendship between worlds. Nara's story spread far and wide. She became a symbol of hope, proof that even when left alone, kindness could lift someone into a new life. Ben and Nara knew that challenges would come, but together, they were ready. Their bond was a bridge between two worlds, under the bright sky of Earth. They found what many searched for, a home not just of places, but of hearts. And so, their story was not just about survival, but about love, courage, and the power of being there for each other when no one else is. The universe was vast, but with a friend by your side, it was a place full of light and promise.